Blog Talk Radio.
Greetings, Hempsters. Welcome to another Hemp episode of HempAware Radio. Tyler Hemp here, your hempreneurial host, here to empower and hempeducate your hemposphere because it's important. In today's fun and hempeducational show, we're going to be discussing my number one favorite topic when it comes to hemp products, and that is hemp buildings and hemp homes. Today, we're going to discuss hemp fibers as a building material and the amazing services that HempStone offers for empowering people like you to build your own hemp home. And at HempAware, we believe investing in your education and investing in hemp are two crucial things that you can do for yourself, for the economy, and the planet that will make a positive generational impact. And so today we have two very special guests, Jennifer Martin and Tom Ross-Massler, who are the co-founders of HempStone, which you can learn more about on hempstone.net. Tom has a background in sales and finance, industry, market adoption, as well as design and construction. And Jennifer has a background in creative collaboration, research, experimentation, development, as well as design and construction. And at HempStone, Jennifer's title is the Catalyst, which is so cool. And Tom gets the noble title of Hemperer. So I'm in great company to empower your world today. Welcome aboard, Jennifer and Tom. Thank you so much for being here.
It's a pleasure to be here. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Cool. So tell me a little bit about each of your backgrounds. I kind of went over a brief history of what you guys do, but what inspired you to get into hemp in the first place and led you to working with hemp as a building material?
Sure. I would love to share with you a little bit of our background. So I'm a design builder living in Massachusetts, and I've been steeped in sustainable architecture for about 20 years. And I dove into hempcrete as a construction material 2 years ago once industrial hemp became legal to farm. And before that, I focused on whatever local, sustainable, natural building materials were available in my area. And Tom and I collaboratively run HempStone. So we offer consulting and training and construction in hempcrete and other sustainable materials. And at HempStone, I wear a variety of hats, from building contractor and project manager to design consultant, all with an aim to catalyze change in the built environment, hence the nickname Catalyst. And, we've been steeped in high-performance green building and natural building professional communities in the United States, and it's been a thrill for us to be able to discuss at a high level the use of plant-based materials as a way to fundamentally change the paradigms of the built environment. And we'll get more into that in this discussion, but we're really thrilled to be here and to also be regional leaders for the U.S. Hemp Building Association throughout New England.
Right on. Thank you. That's so cool, and I appreciate that. Tom, did you want to give a quick synopsis of your background too, and what led you to hemp?
Sure. Yeah, happy to. My background includes sort of a broad business background in areas related to all sorts of areas related to the built environment, including real estate development and acquisition, appraisal and home inspection, affordable housing development, construction, and in general, over the last 10 years, highly focused on sustainable building practices. And for a long time, been very sensitive to that, watched the trajectory of green building with sort of the advent of LEED. That was a game changer in terms of giving everyone the vocabulary of how to now talk more intelligently about operational carbon and then more recently, as things have gotten much more focused on sort of the carbon that's embedded in the materials. To start with, been really excited as we've developed HempStone over the last 2 or 3 years to focus more generally on that, as the operational carbon equation hasn't been fully solved, but people are making great strides on that. And so, in addition to HempStone, I also run a workroom, building performance company, which focuses on that operational side of the energy and buildings. But, I've been really inspired to work with healthy natural materials for a long time, and I mean to progress with respect to climate change. aspiration. I know for both of us, it's more of a moral imperative to do what we can to overcome this challenge that we have in front of us.
Right on. And I don't know if it's not coming through for you, Jennifer, but at the end there, it kind of started cutting out a little bit. But I think we got the gist of it. Both of you have had extensive green building experience. You were naturally led to hemp because it was just at the forefront of both of your backgrounds. And then, so you brought up the whole idea of this carbon sequestering, or, kind of minimizing our carbon output, which we'll get into here shortly. But I'd love to hear from you guys in terms of your overall vision with HempStone. I realize from the website, it shows you guys have done workshops and you offer consulting services and, as you mentioned, help with architectural design and things of that nature. What would you say the overall vision is for HempStone?
I guess I'll take this one. This is Tom. I think from the start, both Jennifer and I have had a really strong, this moral imperative to try and do something about climate change within the built environment. And so the overall vision is really to serve as a catalyzing disruptor in the green and natural building space. And that takes many different forms in terms of education of both the public and industry professionals, helping to design, manufacture, and promote and bring new disruptive products to the building industry. And then to demonstrate our leadership with respect to consulting and our knowledge through the collaboration and development of cutting-edge and inspirational projects so people can see, feel, and taste. Because when you're doing innovation, until there's enough out there for people to really sink their teeth into, it's hard for people to really grasp what it's about. So that's a big piece of our thing, is to try and put the technology out there and really get people to interact with it.
That's awesome. I totally agree. So essentially your guys' overall vision is to really propel and catalyze this industry or hemp as a building material within the overall industry and help disrupt whatever sectors need to be disrupted, through this education and utilization and real world experience. And I love that. So as far as this actual tactile experience, what are some of the things that your students or clients will learn in going through your services or any of your workshops?
Right. I'll continue with that one. I'll let Jennifer take some other ones in the future here. I guess generally, obviously, at a hemp or lime workshop, we're about teaching people the context, first and foremost, of where it fits within where hempcrete and other hemp building technologies fit within the broader industry context. And so that can be, looking at other alternative technologies or just traditional technologies, even building methodologies, and see how we can fit this into the existing markets. And then the other piece is just really looking at a very technical level, because I think a lot of times, people go to get education, and we're very grounded in building science, very interested in making sure that, this alternative, as it becomes more well known, people understand its value, are able to quantify its value from fire ratings and technical aspects around R value and other things that most traditional building materials are obviously vetted on. And so we're very rigorous about imparting and educating folks on those aspects of the materials, because it's important. You're going to have to talk to building inspectors, building owners, homeowners, and you need to be able to not just know how to technically do it, which is what we teach, of course, how to mix and install, but also how to share what the benefits are and how to market that.
That is so crucial. Yeah, having that real world knowledge and experience, like you're saying, the science-backed approach is essential. I love that you guys are grounded in the building science and incorporating and fusing into existing infrastructure or existing products on the market, and how can we seamlessly start fusing hemp into those different building approaches. But also, as you said, I totally agree, being able to speak eloquently and easily that's understandable for all different sectors, whether it's politicians or whether it's regulation, rule makers or just your, local builders, contractors, and people that you work with. So that's awesome. So kind of to get into the nitty gritty of, why hempcrete is an amazing product. You guys can share a little bit about what exactly is hempcrete, where does it fit into the whole building, materials spectrum, and then let's talk about some of the benefits that you guys have found with hempcrete over the years compared to other standard building materials.
Tyler, I'll tackle those. So hempcrete is very simple. It is 3 simple ingredients: hemp hurd, a lime-based binder, and water. And these 3 ingredients get combined to make a fluffy, wet mix biocomposite that can be molded between forms in virtually any shape. And it dries into a hard, stone-like insulating material. The simplicity of hempcrete is one of the things that actually makes it so easy to build with. And I think it's important to say right out of the gate, although hempcrete sounds a bit similar to concrete, it really shouldn't be thought of as the same. Hempcrete is a non-structural material and is used throughout the building with either a wood or a steel frame anywhere above ground level. So this includes your floors, your walls, and even your roof assemblies. And it's also important to know that hempcrete is not like some other insulation materials where you just go and you put it in a building. This is a monolithic material, meaning that hempcrete goes all the way through either that floor assembly or that wall assembly or that roof assembly. It actually encapsulates and surrounds the framing. And so your walls, floors, or roofs become solid masses of insulation with an added bonus of also having some thermal mass. And this combination of thermal mass and insulation in hempcrete is what actually makes it so adept at keeping an even indoor temperature, even when it's extreme outside. And I'll get into that in just a second. So once the hempcrete is set, there are different decorative finishes such as plaster or wood siding and other materials that can be applied to meet your style and taste. So even though it's a monolithic assembly, you can still have a finish that meets your personal aesthetic. The simplicity of hempcrete is really a benefit here, and because you have a base, it's a lot that you can work with. And when you're using hempcrete throughout the building, it optimizes the many high-performing benefits of health, comfort, safety, and positive environmental impact. And I think that brings us to this next part of your question, which was, what are the benefits? And quite honestly, Tyler, I sort of want to ask, how much time do we have for this? Because there's so many great benefits. But I'll keep it short and sweet. And there are really 5 things to keep in mind when you're thinking about hempcrete and its benefits. But let's start with the basics. Humans need shelter. In an optimum world, shelter would be comfortable and healthy, safe, responsible for the planet, and beautiful. Yet, so many buildings fail to meet these 5 criteria. Hempcrete provides us universal access to these 5: comfort, health, safety, positive environmental impact, and beauty. So what's not to love? Let's dig into each of those just a little bit to give you some grounding. Buildings are comfortable when the temperature and the humidity stays consistent. But most modern buildings do this with the help of a lot of energy, either in the form of electricity or fuel. Hempcrete does this naturally by regulating internal humidity conditions and simultaneously stabilizing the indoor temperature even without auxiliary heating or cooling from mechanical systems. So with the stable temperature and humidity, you feel comfortable and you save money in the process. So the next thing to think about is that homes today are filled with heavily processed materials, often made with toxic ingredients that off gas for months and even years as you breathe them in. Hempcrete, here again, is different. It's naturally safe and non-toxic. Hempcrete is a material that is naturally safe to be around and even goes a step beyond. The lime in hempcrete kills bacteria and is mold resistant while also deterring pests and vermin. And right now we're seeing, and this has been going on for years, we're seeing extreme weather conditions around the globe with no signs of respite, unfortunately. It's downright concerning to anyone who lives in shelter. Shelter should be safe. The best materials in the world are resilient, meaning they can endure the effects of nature without damage. And here, hempcrete has some really awesome benefits. Hempcrete can endure periodic wetting from floods and sustained high humidity conditions without damage. And hempcrete is fireproof and is an excellent thermal resistor in wildfire conditions. Very few building materials can endure both flood and fire and come out unscathed. Natural hempcrete is just one of them. And when we think about responsible use, material use, and positive environmental impact, hempcrete is easy to champion because our building materials have a significant impact on the planet. Many of the modern building materials are fossil fuel based, and these materials have a heavy carbon burden for the building industry. Hempcrete is different. By using hempcrete, you actually can have a net carbon benefit for the building. I'm serious. You can lower the carbon footprint of your building by using hempcrete. And here's why. It's simply because industrial hemp, which makes up the bulk of hempcrete, is a rapidly renewable resource. It has a 3 to 4 month growth cycle and can be utilized in the wall or floor or roof assembly. Compare this to upwards of 25 years for softwood. So it's very quickly growing, and it stores a tremendous amount of carbon in its stock. In fact, more than any other construction material. So placed into a building, hemp in hempcrete locks away that carbon into the structure. And eventually, when that carbon has reached the end of its life, remember that we're talking about buildings. And we often think of them in a human lifespan, but they can last for hundreds of years. So whether it's 50 years or 200 years, a building with hempcrete is a natural biocomposite that can be reused or, if not reused, biodegrade. I've used hempcrete, little remnants of hempcrete, as a natural soil amendment in my garden. So how often do you find building insulations that get such an ecological claim to fame as being a soil amendment after being used in a building for 200 years? It's a pretty great material. And last but not least, in terms of benefits, major benefits, there's beauty. And while beauty is truly in the eye of the beholder, structures built with hempcrete feel warm, they feel inviting, they're calming to be in. Hempcrete absorbs sound and is sculptable into any shape or form. The only limit to its beauty is your imagination.
So beautiful. I mean, what a great synopsis and distillation. Thank you for, covering such important topics, going from the toxicity of current materials and the sustainability of hemp and minimizing our carbon footprint are all super essential benefits of utilizing hempcrete. And since we've got about 15 minutes or so left, we've kind of gone over some of the most amazing benefits: the fireproofing, the carbon footprint minimization, minimizing heating and cooling expenses over the years. I mean, there's just so many benefits. However, there's always going to be challenges in any new product, especially in the building industry. So I would love to hear from you guys some of the biggest challenges with hemp building, in terms of regulation, legalization, or codes, things like that. What are some of the biggest challenges that you've experienced, and then some of the limitations of hempcrete from your guys' experience? And whoever would like to take that.
Sure, I'll tackle that one too, Tyler. Thanks. So let's start with the very basics. Anytime that we learn something new, whether we're trying a new dinner recipe or working with a new building material, there's a bit of a learning curve. Hempcrete has some unique characteristics as a building material, fascinating properties that actually, quite frankly, give it a leg up over other more common materials. However, they're new. It's a new material for most folks. And that takes some understanding, some time to get familiar with, some time to slow down your process to rethink your building schedule, for example, so that you can take into account the drying time of cast-in-place hempcrete so that your project can move forward. And we believe that the benefits of the enhanced comfort, the health, the safety, the positive environmental impact, and beauty make hempcrete well worth the investment of time to learn about. Another thing that's important to think about, whether you're a designer or a builder or a homeowner, is that early adopters often find themselves in an educational role. If you're the first one in your area utilizing hempcrete, you're going to undoubtedly find yourself in a position of educating others about this material. Extroverts, of course, will be in heaven because hempcrete's easy to champion, fun to talk about, and exciting to experience in person. However, if you're a little bit of an introvert, it can be overwhelming to get all the curiosity and questions that come when people find out about this material and want to learn about it, whether that's asking questions or knocking on your door for a tour. So it can be, it's inherent in a new material that there is a learning process and there's excitement and there's education, like as Tom said, that has to happen. The other pieces that you spoke to, whether you're speaking about building codes or any of the nuances of getting a project off the ground or out of your head and into into reality, means communicating with real estate folks, insurance folks, building professionals, building inspectors, other contractors, trades professionals, whether those are mechanical folks or your electricians and your plumbers. So there's some education there as well, and helping them understand that their goals and the goals of you as someone utilizing hempcrete are one and the same. There is this, unfortunately, in the building industry, there can be a sort of silo effect where we think about our little box, but the opportunity of hempcrete is really to help people understand that when we're talking about this new material, we're working towards the same goal, which is to build safe, healthy, comfortable buildings for everyone. And we do this simply by keeping our goals unified. We're all working towards that same end. And so there can be some challenges if someone is not familiar with the material to have to explain, this is how hempcrete is safe, and this is how hempcrete is used in this building and in this wall assembly or in this floor assembly. And once that is done, then and the details are communicated about effectively, it's pretty simple. And luckily, we have a lot of support in terms of we're not the first people in the world to invent this material. Hempcrete has been used for 30 years throughout the world, especially in Europe. There are projects of significant scale, and we have building professionals throughout this country that are affiliated with the U.S. Hemp Building Association that can be guides. HempStone, Tom and we are two of those guides. We are happy to provide resources. We do that online. A lot of our colleagues and building professional friends have made these resources accessible. So the information is out there, and the research has been done. It's just finding it, communicating about it effectively. That's pretty much it, Tyler.
Right on. Well, thank you for surmising that so eloquently. I love how you say, we have one goal. We have a same goal, which is a safe, healthy, comfortable building for everyone. As many people as we possibly can living in a safe, healthy, comfortable environment that's cost effective, ideally, is the same goal. So like you said, being able to, so the biggest challenge is the educational side, letting the right people in that whole supply chain from, growing the hemp to building the house, having the nomenclature, the verbiage to be able to talk to all these different types of people. It takes a community and a tribe of people like us to do that. So I really appreciate everything that you guys have done and kind of picking up the baton from here after, like you said, the 30 plus years of European and Asian and other countries utilizing hemp as a building material that we can build off of. It'll definitely make it easier for us, hopefully, to integrate into the current building structures. So I would love to talk about what hempcrete is and what it isn't. I think you've already pretty much defined what it was. It's this 3-ingredient, wet, fluffy material that gets poured into a form. But what is hempcrete not, or what would you not want to use it for, just so people are clear of its use?
Happy to
Not
take
sure
that
which one.
too.
Yeah. Okay, great.
So as I mentioned, even though it's similar to the word concrete, it is not the same. And so it has enough of a similarity. It is a wet mix material that is put between forms. It uses a lime-based binder. If you look into concrete, it also has some lime in its binder, although it's not the predominant binder component. So it can be easy to compare them. But it's important to remember that hempcrete is really best used above ground. We call it above grade in the trade, but just think, if I'm looking at a ground level, if I have a floor or a wall or a roof above that ground level, it's comfortable and safe to use hempcrete. And if it's below ground level, then I advise you to think twice and to talk to a building professional, particularly a building professional that has a really good understanding of water and its forces. The term is hydrostatic pressure when utilizing hempcrete below grade. It's still, people are doing it, but it's considered experimental, and it needs to be done when considering water management first and having that element of the building already addressed before you consider putting hempcrete below grade. You don't use hempcrete as a foundation or a footer or as a slab below grade. So that's probably the most fundamental thing for your audience to hear that hempcrete is not.
That's great. Yeah, so it's not structural, it's insulative essentially. And you wouldn't want to put it underground because if it's exposed to consistent, steady moisture and pressure, because it's a biodegradable material, it will biodegrade. So you want to be extremely careful, like you were saying, and maybe start, if it is underground, with concrete or steel or some other material that could withstand that level of exposure to to the soil. So thank you. I think that's super clear. And so as builders with Hempcrete, you guys have already done multiple workshops and have been able to do testing. You've got great videos online that people can check out if you go to hempstone.net. What would you say some of what you love about working with this material? You kind of mentioned how simple it was and the simplicity of it. Can you talk a little bit more about that, or just some other things that you guys love when working with it?
Sure, and I'd love for Tom to chime in on this because I'd love to hear what he loves about it. But for me, as a builder, I appreciate working with materials that are safe and pleasant to work with and to be around. And then as a designer, I appreciate the simplicity of a hempcrete assembly. And then finally, as a sustainability advocate, I value the potential of hempcrete to reimagine the impact of our built environment on the planet. Because right now, the built environment accounts for roughly 40% of the U.S. emissions annually. But through the use of plant-based materials like hempcrete, good design, and energy-efficient building systems, we can not only do less harm, but fundamentally shift the paradigm to being part of the inspired solution.
So cool.
Yeah, and I'll chime in. I think one of our clients said it best is that, we have these advancing technologies and these ways to try and automate and get economies of scale and make things cheaper, but we've lost something in the building trades a little bit, and that's being in touch with our materials, the craftsmanship, and one of our clients was remarking that they felt very inspired by the fact that every square foot of that building had been touched by a hand, and the hempcrete had been shaped and formed with physical labor. And while that isn't always a recipe for scaling because of the labor side of it, as the technology does get better for hempcrete in terms of spray application and blocks and panelization and manufactured units that are in factories and allowed to dry out and then be delivered just in time to reduce construction schedules and such. This is not new stuff. This is stuff that's been happening for years in the industry. And as we move in that direction, the core nature of the material, though, the fact that it's plant-based, the fact that it's lime and a plant-based aggregate is just incredibly simple and easy to understand. And what we find in workshops is that once people start working with it and realizing that it's also very easy to undo, and we even teach that. We teach what is it, it's important to learn what it's supposed to be like, but it's also important to learn with any building technology or any building methodology, what is it not supposed to look like, so and one of the beautiful things about hempcrete is it's very easy to fix as well after the fact. We have this wall that's been sitting outside for 2 years, completely unrendered, and it's been rained on and frozen and thawed, and that's not below grade like Jennifer was talking about, but it's been beaten on pretty good. It looks just like the day it went in 2 years ago, and so that it shows you a little bit about the resilience of the material too when you start realizing how flexible and resilient the material is. It's kind of fun to work with that way.
That's beautiful. Well, you guys have been so amazing, and I really look forward to working with you more into the future. Our mission at HempAware is to positively impact and uplift and inspire 108 million hemp entrepreneurs by 2040, because humanity deserves to live a healthy, happy, abundant life, and we believe hemp is our vehicle for getting there. And I would love to hear your guys' perspective as hemp-entrepreneurs to describe the feeling that you have making a living doing something that you love, and what does that mean for you guys?
Jennifer, you want to take that one?
Sure. Well, I was thinking about this because Tom and I just had a conversation about this the other day, and the opportunity to wake up each day and work towards creating a building industry that is respectful, responsible, equitable, just, and joyful is just an absolute pleasure. I love the life that I live. I love waking up and working towards creating a resplendent and responsible and renewable industry. And that's what hempcrete and other natural building materials offer for our built environment. We have within our grasp, through plant-based materials, the opportunity to fundamentally change the paradigms of the built environment. And we as a culture and as a society and as an industry have awakened to the moral imperative and the timely imperative of making that happen now. And it's a very exciting time to be in the building industry.
That's beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing. I appreciate that. I'm sure you're inspiring others to dive deeper into their hempreneurial endeavors. And how about you, Tom? What just brings joy to your heart? Why are you so, how is it so fulfilling for you to be able to make a living doing something you love?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the broader, deeper meaning that we're all looking for often. It's one thing to survive, to make money, to provide for your family and all those things, but to make an impact, to leave things better than the way you found them, and also just in the face of what's pretty becoming clearer and clearer, and not everyone's on the same level of consciousness in terms of feeling the concern over climate change, but I think trying to lean into that and find solutions and opportunities to bring people together around solutions that can benefit everybody is definitely a great way to wake up every day and think, okay, let's try and make a difference today. And who can we, it's about collaboration. It's about cooperation. And we're really excited to be a part of that.
Amen. Well said. I totally agree. It's the most fulfilling feeling knowing that every day you wake up fulfilling people's problems, that I feel we do have that chance of creating a paradigm shift on our planet together with this focus. And so I really appreciate what you guys are up to. Is there any last thoughts that you'd like to share with our listeners, or where they can learn more about you guys and get involved in building their own hemp homes?
Yeah, I have one thought that I'd love to share. I'm super appreciative for your radio show, and I think that there are many excellent resources out there like this. But if you're looking to start out specifically with the wonderful world of hempcrete, check out our blog at hempstone.net called Catalyst for Change. One of my favorite short blogs is titled Catalyst Quick Media Top 5 on hempcrete. You'll find easy-to-access resources in video, song, audio, and PDF form. So however you like to take your input, there's something for you, illustrating the wonderful world of hempcrete. We hope you check it out.
That's great. Yeah, I've already read a few of the articles on there, and you're absolutely right. It's definitely valuable information. It's going to make you 99% more educated on the topic of hempcrete and hemp building than anyone else out there. So check it out for sure. How about you, Tom? Any last thoughts or anything else you'd like to leave with our listeners?
Sure. Yeah, I guess I'd just add that there's a broader network through the U.S. Hemp Building Association of other like-minded folks that are trying to collaborate and move the needle on this important issue and disrupt and change the industry. And so that's a great resource. People from all over the country participating. There's ways to get involved. So just a shout out to the U.S. Hemp Building Association that we're a part of as a broader network for change.
Absolutely. Yeah, you can learn more at ushba.org and get involved, become a member today, and get access to some valuable resources to help you spread the good word. Well, thank you two so much. I really appreciate the work you're doing. I think it's the most noble work, and really look forward to working with you into the future, empowering the hemposphere together.
All right. Thanks, Tyler.
Thank you, Tyler.
All right. Have a blessed day. Thanks so much for tuning in to Hemp Aware Radio. We'll check you out on the next Hempisode. Have a blessed day, everyone.
Bye, y'all.